Hello, everyone, and welcome to our English learning journey. Are you learning English but finding it difficult to speak confidently? Do you want to improve your English by listening to interesting stories? Then you are in the right place. In today's lesson, we are going to learn English through a simple and meaningful story. As you listen to the story, pay attention to the sentences, vocabulary, pronunciation, and everyday expressions. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Listen carefully, understand the meaning from the story, and learn step by step. You can pause the video whenever you need. You can repeat each sentence aloud. You can also write down new words and practice them later. Remember, you don't need perfect English to start speaking. You just need regular practice. So, listen carefully, repeat after the speaker, and enjoy the story. Let's learn English together. Now, let's begin our story. One morning, a young boy named Daniel woke up early. Daniel wanted to improve his English. He had been learning English for several months, but he was still afraid to speak. He could understand many simple sentences. He could read short English stories, but speaking was difficult for him. Every time he tried to speak, he became nervous. He worried about making mistakes. One morning, Daniel looked at himself in the mirror. He smiled and said, "Today I will speak English." He decided not to be afraid anymore. He went to the kitchen. His mother was preparing breakfast. Daniel smiled and said, "Good morning, Mom." His mother smiled back. She said, "Good morning, Daniel." Daniel asked, "How are you today?" His mother replied, "I am very good." Daniel felt happy. It was a simple conversation. But for Daniel, it was an important beginning. After breakfast, Daniel went outside. He saw his friend Alex near the gate. Daniel said, "Good morning, Alex." Alex replied, "Good morning." Daniel asked, "Where are you going?" Alex said, "I am going to the park." Daniel asked, "Can I come with you?" Alex smiled and said, "Of course." The two friends walked toward the park. Daniel wanted to practice more English. He asked Alex, "What do you like to do?" Alex answered, "I like playing football." Daniel said, "I like football too." Alex asked, "Do you play every day?" Daniel said, "No, I usually play on weekends." Alex smiled. They continued walking. Daniel felt more comfortable. He realized something important. He did not need difficult English. He only needed simple sentences. At the park, they saw many people. Some children were playing. Some people were walking. A man was reading a newspaper. A woman was sitting on a bench. Daniel looked around. He started describing everything in English. He said, "The park is beautiful." Alex said, "Yes, it is." Daniel said, "The trees are green." Alex replied, "The weather is nice too." Daniel smiled. He was thinking in English. He did not translate every sentence. He simply described what he saw. After a few minutes, they sat on a bench. Alex asked, "Why are you speaking so much English today?" Daniel laughed. He said, "I want to improve my English." Alex asked, "Are you learning English?" Daniel said, "Yes, but I am sometimes afraid to speak." Alex replied, "You should not be afraid. Daniel asked. Why? Alex said. Because mistakes are normal. Daniel listened carefully. Alex continued. Nobody speaks perfectly all the time. The important thing is to keep practicing. Daniel thought about those words. He realized that Alex was right. Daniel said, I think I understand now. Alex asked, What do you understand? Daniel replied, I should not wait for perfect English. Alex smiled. He said, Exactly. Speak with the English you know. Learn from your mistakes. Then try again. Daniel felt motivated. He decided to make a daily English routine. Every morning, he would speak English for 10 minutes. Every afternoon, he would read an English story. Every evening, he would listen to English. He would also learn 5 useful words every day. Daniel returned home that afternoon. He opened his notebook. At the top of the page, he wrote, My English Journey. Under the title, he wrote 5 words. The first word was practice. He wrote, I practice English every day. The second word was confidence. He wrote, I want to speak with confidence. The third word was improve. He wrote, I want to improve my English. The fourth word was mistake. He wrote, A mistake can teach me something. The fifth word was fluency. He wrote, I will improve my English fluency. Daniel read the sentences aloud. He repeated them several times. Then he recorded his voice. He listened to the recording. At first, he did not like his pronunciation. He wanted to stop. But then he remembered Alex's advice. He said, I will keep practicing. The next morning, Daniel practiced again. He spoke about his morning routine. He said, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I brush my teeth. I wash my face. I have breakfast. Thence I start studying. These sentences were simple, but Daniel was becoming more confident. The next day, he practiced talking about his family. He said, I have a small family. My mother is kind. My father works hard. I love my family. The next day, he talked about his hobbies. He said, I like reading books. I also like playing football. I enjoy listening to music. I like learning new things. Every day, Daniel found a new topic. Every day, he spoke a little more. After 1 week, Daniel noticed a change. He could speak longer sentences. He could remember more words. He could understand English conversations better. Most importantly, he was less afraid. One afternoon, Daniel met his English teacher. The teacher asked, How is your English practice going? Daniel smiled and said, It is going well. The teacher asked, Are you still afraid to speak? Daniel replied, Not as much as before. The teacher said, That is wonderful. Daniel said, I learned something important. The teacher asked, What did you learn? Daniel replied, I learned that speaking is more important than being perfect. The teacher smiled. She said, That is a very good lesson. Daniel continued practicing. 1 month passed. Daniel could now have simple conversations. He could introduce himself confidently. He could ask questions. He could answer questions. He could talk about his daily life. He could describe places. He could tell short stories. He could explain his opinions. His English was not perfect, but his confidence had changed. He no longer tried to hide when he made mistakes. If he made a mistake, he corrected it. Then he continued speaking. One day, Daniel met a new student named Sam. Sam was also learning English. Sam looked nervous. Daniel noticed him sitting alone. Daniel walked over and said, "Hello." Sam replied, "Hello." Daniel asked, "Are you new here?" Sam said, "Yes, I am." Daniel smiled and said, "Welcome." Sam asked, "Do you speak English well?" Daniel laughed. He said, "I am still learning." Sam said, "I am afraid of making mistakes." Daniel remembered his old days. He understood how Sam felt. Daniel said, "Don't worry. Mistakes are part of learning." Sam asked, "What should I do?" Daniel answered, "Speak every day. Listen every day. Read every day. Learn useful phrases. And don't be afraid." Sam smiled. He said, "Thank you." Daniel replied, "You're welcome." They started practicing English together. They asked each other simple questions. They talked about their hobbies. They talked about school. They talked about their families. They talked about their dreams. Sometimes they made mistakes. Sometimes they forgot words. Sometimes they laughed. But they never stopped practicing. After several weeks, both students improved. They could speak more naturally. They could understand each other more easily. They became more confident. Daniel learned another important lesson. Learning English is not a race. You do not have to become fluent overnight. You only need to improve little by little. One new word is progress. One new sentence is progress. One conversation is progress. One mistake is a lesson. One day of practice is progress. Daniel continued his journey. He never stopped learning. He continued reading English stories. He continued listening to English. He continued speaking with his friends. He continued writing in his notebook. He continued learning new vocabulary. His English became stronger every month. One evening, Daniel looked at his old notebook. He read his first English sentences. He smiled. He remembered how nervous he had been. He remembered how afraid he was to speak. Then he looked at his latest writing. His sentences were longer. His vocabulary was better. His ideas were clearer. He realized how much he had improved. Daniel said to himself, "I did it. I kept practicing. I never gave up. I made mistakes. I learned from them. And I became better." His journey was not finished. He still had many things to learn, but he was no longer afraid of the journey. He understood that learning never really ends. There is always a new word to learn. There is always a new sentence to practice. There is always a new story to tell. There is always another conversation to have. And there is always another opportunity to improve. Daniel closed his notebook. He smiled. He said, "Tomorrow, I will learn something new." And that is exactly what he did. He continued learning. He continued speaking. He continued growing. And slowly, English became a natural part of his life. The lesson from Daniel's story is simple. You do not need perfect English to start. You need the courage to begin. You need patience. You need practice. You need consistency. Do not be afraid of mistakes. Do not compare yourself with others. Do not give up because progress feels slow. Keep learning one day at a time. Listen to English. Read English. Write English. Speak English. Think in English. Practice English. Use English in your daily life. And most importantly, enjoy your journey. Your English can improve. Your confidence can grow. Your vocabulary can become stronger. Your pronunciation can become clearer. Your conversations can become easier. Your dreams can become bigger. So start today. Speak your first sentence. Learn your first phrase. Read your first story. Listen to your first English lesson. Then repeat it tomorrow. Remember Daniel's journey. He did not become confident in one day. He improved through small daily actions. You can do the same. Start small. Stay consistent. Keep practicing. Keep learning. Keep speaking. And never be afraid to make mistakes. One day, you will look back. You will see how far you have come. You will realize that every small effort mattered. Every word mattered. Every sentence mattered. Every conversation mattered. Every mistake mattered. Every practice session mattered. So believe in yourself. Your English learning journey starts now.